Record to the Here we go.
All right, any announcements?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Talk.
Dave, if you're interested, I can probably supply a board, if not a kit.
Okay, I'll take a look.
But
Thanks.
like I say, I'll put it together. Don't they have any carrier pigeons down there?
Any carrier pigeons?
We'll attach it to a SCUA.
A carrier skua.
Okay. I don't see. Ooh, we're doubling quite bad.
I'll just mute everybody.
Test. Testing. Okay. I don't see Christina or Bill.
I can tell you that Bill is in Florida. He is at the International Space Weather Action Team meeting in Cape Canaveral, along with Kukai Hazumi, and they are both waving the HamSCI flag down there at that conference. And they were at Kukai and Ed Fcheck were at Hamcation right before that meeting. And I'm not sure about Christina, but I never formally talked to her about exactly when she would start joining this meeting. I know she was trying to wrap up some things on her other funded project and all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah, I just wanted to know if they had a date preference, so it wasn't something we were just spraying on them.
yeah. We'll see how this works.
Okay. Is Kung on? Yes. Any updates?
Yes, I do. Some very good updates actually. So, this.
Kung, I think your audio is a little rough. You might be, I don't know, you're too close to the microphone or
Too close, is it? Let me see.
that's a little better if you just speak a little quieter.
Okay. So ever since our last meeting, me and Bill Engelke, we've been exchanging a lot of emails and meeting to make sure that my code works on the server. So now we have confirmation that it does. So Bill have uploaded some sample data that I received from Bill Blackwell, John Gibbons, and Dr. Fizal. And we successfully converted that over from CSV to GRF. And then we also managed to generate plots using the resulting DGRF. So everything works as expected on the server. So that's one part of the data upload process finished. So my next step would be ensure that this code works on each of the local station. And then when I verify that and make sure that the resulting DRF on the local nodes are okay, then we'll begin uploading the important grep2 data to the server before we make the physical drive swap. So yeah, that's everything for me for this week.
I think that's a major progress right there.
Thank you.
Okay. Any updates on the drive swap?
I have not received the drives yet, although I believe they've been ordered.
Perfect. I will probably confirm with you that the list I have from, since I only have a copy somewhere of the original addresses that we shipped out to. So I need to confirm that list, but I have an address from Bill Engelke, so I think we can get started on the shipping labels.
Yeah, I was down at FedEx this morning asking about trying to find a shipping container, and he had something that looked promising. It was a prepackaged shipping container for a cell phone, and it looked like the drive might fit in it just nicely, and it'd be packaged. So he's ordering some of those. I'm going to see those next week, and if that works, we'll buy 35 of those because we've got to put them in something that you can drop it on the concrete and it's not going to hurt the drive. So that's a work in progress. That's still up in the air. So Lisa tried to get Western Digital ship the drives individually, and the ordering people do not talk to the shipping people, so they said they couldn't guarantee anything. So we're going to get a box 35 in one shipment. So that didn't work. Spent an hour and a half or so last night with Bill Blackwell on remounting the drive in the media partition and then have it linked or symbolically linked into the Grape 2 data in the home directory. I got that to work last night. It's a pretty simple command. Bill figured it out, and we're working on a script that actually does the full drive format, so I can automate that. And then we're thinking about pushing that up to have them on the actual Grape 2s in case you have to do it yourself if something goes awry. Also updated the latest distro, and I was trying to run it last night and could not get the G2 console to display anything. And looking into it, we were getting null streams shipped over, and the Grape 2 console was throwing up on that and was refusing to do anything. So have to look into that. I'm not sure what went south. Hopefully it's something stupid on my part, but we'll figure it out. Other than that, that's about it. Bill, do you have anything?
I'm working on this on a script to sort of semi-automate the disk swap process, so users don't have to go through a lot of commands. And I believe you're writing up the procedure for users to take to run that script and follow up after that with actually physically swapping the disk. So we're going to test that out in the coming week or two and make sure that's all working and handles all kinds of errors.
Yeah,
So,
we'll make sure the script works, but I will actually be doing the formatting of all the drives here before they ship out, so they shouldn't have to do the formatting part.
right.
Everything else they will.
Yeah, the disk will be formatted when they arrive at
Right.
the sites, but the actual process of shutting down the data controller, running the uploader, and then creating the link has to be put in a script so users don't have to do those commands.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Nope. Okay. Bill is not here, so we'll hold off on updates here. Rob, any updates? Rob or Mike, any updates with the antenna project?
Not really. I mean, Michael and I continue to work, uh, and I think he's going to deploy a couple more systems um, out at a farm this this week. So I work is being done, but there's no major conclusions about the antennas, other than I think that they work well, and we're continuing to learn how to identify problems at sites that will apply to any antenna that we were to choose to deploy in the end. So that's
Michael Howen also submitted an abstract to the HamSCI workshop. That
yeah.
Yes, it looks like a very good abstract, and so he'll be giving us a nice presentation summarizing the team's results and where they are. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Elmer and 3AGE will be coming, and I think they plan to set up a little demo table in addition to kind of show what the 888 Orange Pi system looks like and attached to antennas. Of course, not in operation, just to show the hardware. And so I won't be able to come. I'll have to come. I'll have to attend via Zoom or whatever.
We'll miss you, Rob.
Well, I wish I could come, but just right in the middle of a move. So
But I should
um,
say, Rob is planning on coming to Scranton on April 24th, and we're going to be celebrating World Amateur Radio Month, or Amateur Radio Day, and Citizen Science Month. So, Rob, if it's okay, we want to advertise your talk a little more broadly when you come to Scranton. And so anyone who wants to come see Rob can come to Scranton April 24th.
Isn't World Radio Day today?
No, so World Amateur Radio Day is April 18th.
World Radio Day.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about World Radio Day. I know about World Amateur Radio Day.
I think it might just be it's like celebrating radio in general. I thought it was today.
Yeah. So I guess this is kind of like an announcement, but World Amateur Radio Day is April 18th. And Citizen Science Month is the month of April. And SciStarter is another national project to promote citizen science. And they are teaming up with us and the ARRL to promote amateur radio and citizen science. SciStarter is running something called the Million Acts of Science. So you're trying to get 1 million people to do citizen science, something rather with citizen science in the month of April. It's April 18th.
18th.
Yes. Oh, Christina's on now. That's wonderful. And yes. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say any day in the month of April, we're encouraging clubs to host, ham radio clubs to host an open house to celebrate both World Amateur Radio Day and Citizen Science Month. And to their open house can be something promoting radio, can be promoting citizen science, and then to send your logs of your activities to the ARRL, and they will forward them on to SciStarter, and all get counted towards Citizen Science Month.
Yeah, I'll have to see if we can put something together at Dartmouth. We actually have a chance of rejuvenating our amateur radio club.
That would be amazing.
Got a bunch of undergraduates who've come out of the woodwork.
What kind of radio club do you have up there?
Well, we actually have a station. We just haven't had members.
Are they coming to the
Magda is
workshop?
here, of course.
Yes.
And Eric Hansen, who's just retired from Thayer School, is our trustee. I'm the officer of record for Dartmouth Amateur Radio Association. we're a very old club, but we just haven't had undergraduates, which would qualify us for being classified as a undergraduate society. But we've had some come out of the woodwork, and I've got one of our physics professors who I have an eye on for being the sponsor. So this is a good time to think about this.
Yeah, there's a
I
nice
agree.
article in March QST about the whole ham radio open house thing, and he's even a picture of some guy in a purple polo shirt demonstrating the equipment at W3 USR. So
I wonder who that is. I do know April 18th is also Good Friday. So that's one of the reasons that we are saying the open house can be held any day in the month of April. So Rob, I can talk with you more about this later, but I was hoping we might be able to make your talk here at Scranton part of our open house.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah. What day is your open house?
It's I wanted to make it on the same day you're giving your IEEE talk here, April
Oh
20th.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Sure. Of course. I'd be.
Wonderful.
Ta-
We booked the biggest auditorium in the whole university for
Oh
you.
no. Oh no.
We did.
You're- okay. Well, now
Was that?
I'll have to shorten it dramatically, to talk dramatically to make it.
No. I don't want you to shorten anything. I'll talk to you more about it offline. But,
Okay. Okay.
But your primary audience is still undergraduate IEEE students.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I hope they're interested.
They'll be interested. I think the Fairlawn Amateur Radio Club is coming too. So there
Oh.
will be. So we'll have amateur radio club members, and yeah. So
Okay.
I don't want you to dumb things down. I want you to do what you want to do.
Okay. Well, I never have lack for things to talk about, but it's not certain that everybody's interested in them. So I've driven people out of online meetings the last few weeks and talking about CPU cache consistency. So
But it's actually very important. Okay,
yeah.
I better give it back to Rachel.
Okay. Oops. Rob, any updates on Whisper Grape stuff?
Just about done with the software that I think would be deployable on the Orange Pi. It's just startling that the Orange Pi can basically do make all of the recordings and that we want. It kind of continually amazes me that we'll be able to do it. So it's it's in the end, there's a version of Whisper Daemon called that the beta version 3.3.1, and we've got 25 sites running it now. There's there's still things to fix, but all the functionality's there. And an important goal was to run on the Orange Pi, and it does. So I don't think there's anything that simplifies it. We'll have to discuss about how and when. We need to assemble the whole package, right? We need to, I think, uh, I think for these sites, we want to put everything in a single box with one power supply and as few connectors as reasonable. So, I think Gary and Michael and others, I don't know who's relevant about, planning for the purchase and deployment of the receivers part of this. We haven't established the antenna yet, but I thought Gary, did you get together with Michael and online and talk about that at all?
yeah, we did, and I'd like to talk about that when we get a few minutes later on.
Okay, good. Well, look forward to the help. We're trying to make everything as easy as possible and as few connections and variability as possible. And I think we have all of those components in place. So
I think the real engineering work for that system is probably going to happen at Scranton. I'm more on the people side of things, but we'll figure
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob, also, I just sent you an email that Phil Erickson had sent me. He was wondering if we had done rigorous testing to make sure that the RX 888's not silently dropping samples.
Completely, deeply, deeply involved in that. Yes, we are
Uh,
absolutely. I think we have Scott Newell has been enhancing the monitoring and reporting of the a sample stream. In general, I think summary is, as far as I can tell, we're not the but avoiding dropped samples involves assigning CPU tests to individual CPU cores, so that they're not preempted. Linux not being a real-time environment, you need to be cautious about using it to do, these streams, which I think we're going to, well, the Orange Pi can only do the 64 megasample mode of the RX 888.
mm,
So, not that I think that's a problem, but many of the Whisper Daemon sites are running at 129 megasamples, which is right at the edge of the capabilities of many, even contemporary high-end Xeon CPUs. The 250 megabytes per second of sample data that comes over a USB cable is not a trivial, data stream to deal with.
mm,
But um, making sure that sites work reliably at that 129 megasample rate kind of has uncovered and allowed us to introduce monitoring to be sure, so that whatever the data rates, that we know if there's errors. Uh, and at least, if there are errors, we would flag them. And the data would be identified as being corrupted. But my um, as far as we could tell right now, that at 64 megasamples, almost any system can work quite completely reliably. Um, that's the good news. But there's been a lot of work going on in the background, especially with Scott Newell, uh,
mm.
to be sure that we do that. This is, I'm very conscious of this being a science project, not a, um,
Communications.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Do you mind if I CC you on an email to Phil so you could
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That way you can fill in more for Phil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. This has been an interesting project. I've learned a lot about computers. I've been working with them for 40 years, and I was aware of these things like caches and there were multiple cores, but I've never prior to this really looked under the hood and realized what was happening in a contemporary CPU, that's especially one that's under stress like ours are.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
And if anyone interested in it, they'll hear more than they may want to know from me about this.
If you want to, if you want more people to know about it, feel free to just send it not only to Phil but also to the HamSCI grape listserv, and then it'll be on record for everyone to see.
Yeah, at some point, I'll have to do that. But I'm packing. The movers
Yes.
are coming. So
When are you moving?
March 5th, Wednesday, March 5th. So I think it's 3 weeks from now. So,
Good.
You do
Good luck
know the
with that.
workshop's online, Rob.
oh, yes, I do. And I will be attending online, of course.
Very good.
Yeah, it will be. I wondered if, brief aside, David, you had said you might look into how to improve the AAA's low frequency performance. I wondered if you.
Yes, I was going to get to that. I do have one that is a test bed, and I've pulled the bias T inductor off, and I've pulled the transformer off. And I have some ideas of better transformers, and we'll see how low we can get it. The one remaining component or components is, of course, the coupling capacitors, but those are easy to change.
Yeah, I mean, the- to what, what's the benefit of the transformer? I mean, my understanding is that it basically is just, it improves the noise figure by 3 dB because you,
Well, yeah, no, it's actually 6 dB because
6
it's a
dB, yeah,
voltage doubler. It
yeah,
matches impedances from 50
yeah,
ohms to 200 ohms. Supplies the balanced feed to the A to D converter,
yeah.
and
Is
yeah,
it,
and I've found transformers that may get us down to the kilohertz range.
is that, is the transformer between the RF amplifier and the A to D or in front of the A to D, the RF amp?
It's drives the A to D
Oh, okay.
between the amplifier and the A to D.
Yeah. So so the amplifier, is the amplifier single-ended then?
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
single-ended output.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a single um primary and a
Uh-huh.
tapped secondary.
Hmm. Oh,
Then it's a
that's
2-to-1 as I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
1
Okay.
to 2,
Well,
actually.
okay. Yeah, I think
So I've got a number of transformers I've identified. I'll try to get some samples and pop them in. The one problem is form factor, but we can work around that.
yeah. Okay. Well, one more thing, reason to have our own design. That,
Indeed.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns?
I've got a great question when we've got a few minutes regarding my presentation for the workshop.
Perfect timing. Go ahead.
Okay, if I can share my screen, that'll help, I think. Thanks. Let's see. There we go. All right, so I'm doing a presentation for the workshop. I'll be speaking probably right before Michael Hahn does. But I want to do this for two purposes. One, for the workshop, but also I'm putting this presentation together as kind of a recruiting tool for host sites in the future. So yeah, hopefully it'll get used quite a bit. One of the okay, let's see, play, come on. Sorry about that. Let's see here. There we go. So anyhow, what I'm going to start with, maybe not so necessary for the workshop, for the other radio clubs and things, is defining what the personal space weather station network is, how it's actually a type of DAISY, define what a distributed array of small instruments is, and talk a little bit about our funding cycles, DAISY 1, DAISY 2. So people probably hear those terms and may not be familiar with them, but at least I'll explain them. But then I want to get into a little bit of detail. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the need we talk about for high temporal resolution measurements. And this is where I got a question for John. So one of the things I wanted to say is that even in the current network, today's GRAPE instruments are operating around the clock, of course, creating at a minimum 1 data point per second per instrument. So that's like 84,000 samples a day for the GRAPE ones. Is that right, John?
86,400, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. And I'll say the DAISY 2 instruments in the future will operate similarly. So, okay, great. That helps because I don't want to Oops, I got a typo there. So then I'm going to show a few pictures of the equipment, just potential equipment. And then I want to talk about site selection, noise mitigation, that sort of thing. But since Michael's talking right behind me, he may want to cover this. And if he does, I'll take it out of my talk for the workshop. I don't want to steal his thunder. And then I'll just use it for the radio clubs and stuff in the future. But one of the things is I want to show some of the RFI issues we found, a couple of different things that, and how we might mitigate them. And Rob, one of the things that I said too is that we know that with super quiet sites, obviously the amount of data we collect and the quality of the data we collect obviously goes up. And one of the things I want to mention were both KFS and KPH in the West Coast. So would you consider them, Rob, what we call the super quiet sites?
Yes, they're the most sensitive sites that I know of, here on the West Coast.
Okay, that's perfect,
so
because I
then-
want to make
yeah,
sure. I know
yeah.
I've heard you talk about that, so.
Yeah, they're,
So, okay, that's about that then. Okay, I'm done. That helps. Thank you.
you might mention, I think we use the Whisper spot reports, the number of them and the total number and the total different number of different stations heard, Whisper beacons heard, as an indicator of the quality of a received site. It's not exhaustive. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best working properly for WWB. You could have, a switching transformer on 10 megahertz that doesn't bother your Whisper, but in general, I think you might mention how we use why Whisper is kind of part of this project.
Yeah, I definitely mentioned Whisper and the Whisper network on an earlier slide, but this,
Yeah.
your talk about the number of reports and the number of beacons heard might fit in well. So, good, thank you. Back to you, Rachel.
Does anyone have any other business to discuss?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Nathaniel a favor too.
Sure.
The HamSCI calendar on our website, you may
Yes.
want to rename and repurpose this particular call. It still mentions being grape only.
Oh, okay.
And then also the Ham Science call, the description of the call still talks about the SEQP. Bill Lyles caught that for me, but I haven't had a chance to ask you about that.
Okay.
Thanks. That's it.
Yeah. That's it for me too, Rachel.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or business? All right. I think we're done.
Thank you.
Early, I dare say. 73, everyone.
Have a good day, everyone.
Great.
73.